the Toyota Research Institute opened its doors to visitors for the first time and held the Toyota Research Institute Expo. At the expo, the company's CEO and chief scientist of Toyota Motor Corporation, Gil Pratt, explained the approaches to solving three main social problems: aging society, climate change, and human understanding. To solve these problems, the Institute is developing research in 5 main areas, including energy and materials, where artificial intelligence is used to accelerate breakthroughs in creating zero-emission vehicles. The Institute is also developing human-oriented artificial intelligence to improve collective well-being, interactive driving with human participation, and machine learning algorithms for adaptation and autonomous changes for the benefit of humanity. Finally, the Institute is focusing on robotics to make people's daily lives easier and more enjoyable, with engineers devoting significant attention to creating a home robot. Although scientists understand that creating humanoid robots is a complex task, they are not giving up. To test their robot, the team created a mock-up of a regular home where the robot tries to rearrange furniture, create disorder, and see how the robot copes with these tasks. They also released the robot into the world, for example, to the store, to see how it will solve such tasks. Overall, roboticists are not sure if they will succeed in this type of task, but they are not going to give up. GPT continues to play the role of the main newsmaker. First, the 4th generation of neural networks stunned users with Pink's aggressive behavior, which we talked about in our Telegram channel. Then, the neural network passed the theory of mind test at the level of a 9-year-old child without any prior training. What does such a result indicate? Has artificial intelligence really been able to understand the task set before it? Could such an ability spontaneously arise in the neural network? Another possibility is that this is a cool imitation of human abilities. This is what scientists from Stanford, who conducted the experiment, wrote about. The theory of mind, or the ability to attribute unobserved mental states to others, occupies a central place in human social interactions. Scientists used it to test several language models without any examples or prior training. Neural networks before 2022 were practically unable to solve such tasks. GPT-3 solved 70% of the theory of mind tasks in January 2022, which is comparable to the performance of 7-year-old children. The algorithm version from November 2022 solved 93% of the tasks, which is comparable to the performance of 9-year-old children. However, the scientists themselves do not see artificial intelligence as sentient. Probably, the GPT chat solved these tasks thanks to its growing language ability. The neural network has an incredible sense of language, which can create the impression that it is sentient. It simply found and reproduced existing language patterns. NASA has finally started actively using generative design. This is reported by Not Atlas Agency. For decades, they have been making individual structures to order, and only now are they starting to trust artificial intelligence. The generated details resemble something organic, which is not surprising since they are created through evolution. Engineers load into the program, called Fusion 360 CD, all the critical measurements of load and stress that the part must withstand. Then, the artificial intelligence starts experimenting with forms to achieve maximum strength with minimum weight. In a couple of hours, engineers get a part that is on average 2/3 lighter and works much better than the one designed by experienced engineers. Considering that in the space industry, every gram counts, this method more than justifies itself. It remains only to implement 3D printing as well since, for now, the parts are manufactured using traditional milling methods. In Saudi Arabia, an unusual 400-meter skyscraper with a rooftop garden will be built, which will be the highlight of a unique complex called the New Murabba. The complex covers an area of 11 square kilometers and will be the first layer of immersive technologies that allow you to explore the ocean depths, visit space, and even Mars, all thanks to the latest digital and virtual technologies, including holography. The launch is scheduled for 2030. And now a small selection of unusual and quirky robots. Engineers at the University of California, San Diego, have developed a robot that can adapt to movement in different conditions. For this, it automatically adjusts the length of its limbs to squeeze through a narrow passage or climb stairs. The bot's telescopic legs consist of 6 concentrically nested tubes connected by springs, and all changes are mechanically regulated with no sensors. The robot does not calculate a path or trajectory, it simply moves wherever instructed. This robot is reliable and inexpensive, so it wouldn't be too much of a loss to launch it into any dangerous environment. The team of engineers from the Tokyo University has presented a very unusual robot. The idea was to create a robot that could walk and fly, as well as change its shape in flight with the ability to manipulate multiple objects simultaneously. The media has already dubbed it as the future flying robo-squids from the Matrix. The spider weighs 15 kilograms and is equipped with its own set of propellers that allow it to function as a multi-copter. Each segment of the robot is equipped with its own set of rotors and works as an independent copter capable of directing its thrust in any direction. The segments are connected together and can move in different directions. The developers have learned to coordinate all the motor units in real time, but the movements still look extremely slow and clumsy. Walking with such a design seems like a meaningless activity, as the robot can only walk for 20 minutes, while it can fly for only 9 minutes. However, during a minute of flight, it will likely cover a greater distance than during 10 minutes of walking. Researchers hope to extract benefits when the robot can manipulate 4 limbs simultaneously, but imagine how difficult it must be to control such a complex design for precise manipulations. What do you think about the prospects of such a construction? Meanwhile, engineers from the Shanghai Research Institute of Intelligent Autonomous Systems have constructed a drone for both air and water environments, called the Flying Fish. It looks like a regular quadcopter with 4 arms and a motor propeller module on each of them. However, each power unit includes a special 2-speed gearbox, and each arm can rotate independently relative to the rest of the drone. When the drone lands on the water, it releases the propellers downwards, which submerge it. After complete submersion, the fish adjusts the angle and thrust of each motor unit to move vertically or horizontally. The drone is fully autonomous at all stages of its mission and can hover for 6 minutes or swim for 40 minutes on a single battery charge. Soon, such machines will be able to conduct aerial photography, remote sensing, and participate in search and rescue operations. The Robotics and Mechanisms Laboratory at the University of California, Los Angeles, also known as Romeo, has shared the progress of its humanoid robot, Artemis. Currently, the lab employees are focused on studying the locomotion strategy of humanoid robots. Compared to the first humanoid robot named Thor presented in 2014, the engineers have made significant progress with Artemis, making it more stable. The robot's speed on the video is limited due to the cautious programming. By the way, the robot will become the main platform for the laboratory's developments for the next 10 years. The Zux robot taxi has been driven on public roads for the first time. Phosphor City, California-based company announced to the press that it was the first time in history that specially designed robot taxis, without manual control, autonomously traveled on public roads with passengers. While the robot taxi is currently transporting company employees between 2 offices, trips began on February 11th. Inside the salon, 2 rows of seats facing each other allow passengers to control the music, air temperature, check the arrival time, location, and route using touch panels. Zux has full drive and 2-way capability, meaning it can move forward and backward. However, its speed is currently limited to 56 km/h. The company is now working on commercially launching the robot taxi, but it is unknown when it will be available. The company Bright Peak has introduced warehouse robots. The autopicker system does not require upgrades to the warehouse itself or its shelves, and can search for and collect orders into separate containers. The robot can autonomously assemble orders and take the container to where a person will pick it up. Do warehouse robots seem uninteresting to you? But if you had the opportunity to have one at home, that's exactly what the smart furniture brand Kachaka offers, with their robot of the same name. It's an autonomous mobile bot with a planar impact sensor, front cameras, a basic 3D sensor, and a set of leading wheels and rollers. It can create maps, move autonomously, and bring various items on command, installed on special shelves that the robot can grab with its extending pin. On one hand, the robot definitely adds convenience, but on the other hand, it may not be particularly useful for everyone. Would you buy one at a price of $2,000, including one shelf? The Flexive team has released a very interesting robot gripper, which they have already modestly announced as revolutionary. The graphene Henson has precise industrial-level force control and a sticky material based on gecko foot pads, allowing it to lift almost any object within reach, whether it has a smooth spherical or rough, uneven surface, or even micro-components and fragile items. The new gripper was developed to reduce the frequency of tool changes at the end of the robot's arm, while the sticky material allows it to work with a wide range of items. Flexive developed the gripper for customers who already purchased their manipulators, but found that interest in the gripper was much wider than their customer base. There's also a startup developing a robotized gas station, which can autonomously fill up customers' vehicles and process payments without needing a special cap on the fuel tank. To use the full system, a driver must register their vehicle and payment details in the system. There are already a dozen companies developing similar robots, and experts believe that this is a growing market that will reach $50 billion within 5 years.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel Top News Info.